Hallo, welkom bij de Data Discovery Channel. We zijn deze week in Seattle op PAS Summit 2016. En naast mij staat een van de program managers van Microsoft, Bret Grinslade.
Hello.
Hi Bret, welcome and nice of you to spend some time with me. I think one of the big announcements this week, at least for me, was analysis services going to Azure. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so this is a new service we're creating. It's been a long time that we've had SQL Server analysis services in the market. People really like this product a lot, and we really like the product a lot. Customers really get a lot of benefit from it. We have had requests in the past to move it to Azure. We've been working on that, trying to figure out the right strategy. And so now we're making the announcement. So we have Azure Analysis Services. We just launched it this week. And so we're happy to have you get your guys' feedback. It's a preview we started with now.
Yeah, it's like you said, people asked for it a long time. So I think a lot of people will finally say, yeah, we can finally move analysis services to the cloud. Can you tell me what are the benefits of doing it in the cloud?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the main benefits is it just gives you less things to worry about, less things to manage. In the cloud, we manage the reliability, we do all of the maintenance, we keep the software up to date, we roll it forward. It's just like something like, say, SQL Azure database is a good example. This is a team that we're following in their footsteps and trying to do some of the same things that they've done and brought to the service. So, you only have to pay for what you use, what resources you need. Right now you can pause the service and restart it at any time. Shortly in the preview will enable you to scale that up and scale it down. So as your workload changes, maybe you do a bunch of processing overnight, you may want to scale it up and get that done quickly. Maybe you have a big workload demand in the morning when people come in and run lots of reports, and maybe you want a little scale for that and scale it back down. Other kinds of scenarios might be like development and test. You want to bring up a server, do development, do a bunch of testing on that server, and then pause it, and then come back maybe a week later and do some changes and test those things out, and just keep your data there. And there's no charge for the service when it's paused. So it's really, really to make your life easier, so you don't have to think about infrastructure, can focus just on that business problem. Building a semantic model that really solves the customer problem for you.
So in the end, it will be cheaper probably than setting up your own environment.
Yeah, I think in the end, your cost of ownership is going to be, manageable. And really, I think what people should be focused on in the cloud is really thinking about how do you optimize your resources and doing the right things. So, how do you think about people? How do you think about time to market? Your ability to develop a solution and make changes and things like that. These are many of the benefits that you're getting. So, in the end, it's about the whole picture and not just the one server and a solution. So,
you already mentioned the similarity with Azure SQL Database. With Azure SQL Database, I know there are some limitations when you compare it to SQL Server in the box. Are there limitations here as well?
There's definitely some things that you have to be aware of. A few things work a little differently, mostly around operational behaviors. So things like maybe backup and restore are going to be slightly different, these types of things. Of course, things like provisioning are very different. You just turn it on and a few seconds later you have a resource that you can go use. From the thing we've really focused on in this release, though, is that for these tabular models that we're supporting, which is 1200 compat level, we've really made the internal behavior of the system as compatible as possible. So you can really just take a model that you have working on premises today, you change the deployment target, point it to the cloud, and the next thing you know, you're up and running in the cloud. If the data source that you're connecting to we support, we have a list in the preview of what we're supporting, and that will grow. It just works. It just works like it does on premises. You connect Excel, you connect a third-party tool, you connect Power BI Desktop, and you're just using the model like you would. And the performance is pretty amazing. We're really happy right now with how the performance is for queries.
Okay, so that all sounds very great. So the limitations are you have to be on SQL Server 2016 with tabular models only at the time. Huh?
That's correct. Yeah. Right now we only support tabular models. There's a user feedback forum that we're interested in getting feedback. You can find it on in the internet. And some people are voting for multidimensional. They're also voting for some other really cool features that are out there. So we'd love to get both, hear about the issues you guys are facing and the kind of business problems you're solving, and the kind of features you want us to add. It's kind of, with Power BI, we really re-energize, I think, the way we think about BI from Microsoft, and we're really doing a lot of investment to make this a really great product.
Okay. The product is available in private preview at the time. Can anyone apply, or are there any limitations?
No, actually right now it's a public preview. So if you have an Azure subscription, you can see it right on your Azure account. You set it up and start using it. At public preview, we charge 50% of the price. So it's you have to pay for the service, and it has all the capabilities. And you can go to the forums and let us know if you have issues. And we definitely want to get people's feedback. We have some internal customers and external customers that are moving into production type of workloads, and obviously we don't have SLAs for the preview services in Azure, but it is a public preview. It's openly available. We'd like to get your feedback on it. So
very good. Public preview. Public preview. Let me emphasize that. I thought it was in private still, but okay.
It's out there. We've been working on this in the background for a little while. One of the backstories is that it's the same engine team that we work on that works on analysis services builds the infrastructure components to the Power BI service. And so we have some more experience with these tabular models. So we're bringing a pretty sophisticated workload into the cloud, and we have some experience. Now we still want your feedback, but this is why we're starting with the tabular experience. We've been running this for a while on some other services, and we think it's going to work pretty well for you.
Oh, great. One of the things if you run tabular models on-premise is you have to invest in memory. How is that in Azure? Is there a slider, a knob where I can adjust the memory I want, or how does it work?
No, that's a great question. So to start with, we kind of have a bit of a simple model where you can pick different amounts of memory that you want to put with your workload. So like our S1 has up to 25 gigabytes of memory that you can use for processing and serving your models. And exactly how you use that obviously depends on your workload. You may have one large model that you do a lot of processing on. You might have a certain thing you do there, or you might have many small models that you have loaded in, and each one of them only takes a small amount of processing overhead and things like that. So you basically think of it as like you get this space that you can work with, and then you can scale that up for depending on what your workload is. Right now, the largest one we're supporting at the moment in the public preview is 100 gigabytes. We actually also have some feedback to allow some larger ones, and we'll be looking at that as we get more experience. And I think that's definitely the kinds of things that will be on our roadmap. We're in the Power BI team broadly, and so we'll be on a release cadence where the cloud service is updated on a regular basis with new capabilities. So we'd like you guys to keep watching that. And then with the spirit of like SQL Server, we will also take a lot of those capabilities and make sure we ship them in the next release of the SQL Server product as we bring the on-premises product forward also.
Okay, all sounds great. Any idea on general availability yet?
The general availability will be when you guys give us some feedback that it's ready to go. So we need you guys to use it, and we're obviously excited about it. We'd love to be generally available right away. Kind of the things we have to work through is get some more real-world experience. We've been in a private preview for a little while. We have a certain amount of feedback. We need to make that a larger audience and get more people involved. We also have some more region rollouts. Right now we're in Western Europe, and we're also in the United States. And we have some other regions that we want to get added to the service. So there's a few things we need to do, but the main thing we need is your guys' feedback. So we want all the professionals kind of watching this type of experience to come in, check out our product, give us feedback, do some real workloads, give us that kind of information. So that's really what will be the key for when we go to general availability.
Well, I will definitely start to do some experience with it when I'm back in Holland. Okay, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for all your information. Have a great summit. Thank you, Bret.
Thank you.
Hoi. En dit was het voor deze aflevering. We hebben uiteraard de dagelijkse updates van alles wat er hier gebeurt op PAS Summit. Like de video als je hem leuk vond. Abonneer op het kanaal voor de volgende video's en graag tot de volgende keer.